Hi, it's Quinton Brown here from Flames Fitness in Canberra. I'm coming to you today to have a chat with you about probably one of the most important things when it comes to exercising or achieving any sort of health and fitness goal, and that is diet. Now, this is a really, really big issue that we talked about for hours and hours, and I'm not going to do that to you. But I'll talk to you fairly briefly today about the key topic, which is to do with losing body fat, and that's probably one of the most common ones out there. Now, really essentially, if you want to lose body fat, you've got to consume less calories than you're actually burning off each day. So we want to do two things. We want to increase your energy output, and that's the exercise component. But I'm sitting down today talking to you because I'm not focusing on the energy output side right now. I'm focusing on the input side and how much and how little I should be putting in. Now, there's a few real key sort of points I can give you today on that. So you may have heard some of these before. One of the key ones is eat frequently. All right, dieting and cutting. I hate the word diet, and as they do say, the first three letters of the word pretty much spell what it's going to do to you. So dieting essentially is killing your body. If you start holding back on nutrition towards your body, different cells are going to react in a negative way, and you'll actually find it has a long-term negative result. So we need to feed your body. If you want your body to work the most efficiently and burn the most calories, it needs to have the right nutrition coming in. So eating regularly is definitely key to that. We at Flames Fitness would recommend that you eat 5 times a day, but the general rule of thumb is eat every sort of 2.5 to 3 hours. Now, each one of those meals doesn't have to be very big, so it's not a case of you sitting down and gorging yourself and filling yourself up on copious quantities of food all the time. Not the case at all. I want them to be small pockets of food, but eating frequently enough that your body's getting enough out of it, and it's also helping you speed up your metabolic rate in doing so. The next thing we need to look at is what sort of foods we put in there. Now again, very basically, what we would recommend is that we have a mix of some carbohydrate and some proteins, definitely important, and plenty of fruit and vegetables. We generally start the day with some carbohydrates because that's going to help to get our energy into our system and fuel our muscles. We don't want to starve our body at that time of day or give it a hard sort of energy to break down. You'll find you'll run out of gas. So we need to give you some energy in the tank. I'll give you an example. You might wake up this morning like I did and have a couple of Wheat Bix with some skim milk on it for breakfast. That'd be great. Skim milk gives me a little bit of protein as well. Leaves me feeling full. Not a lot of sugar added into this because sugar burns off too quickly. Alright, so the next meal I might have might be a piece or two of fruit. I exercise a fair bit, so I might have a piece of fruit and a tub of yogurt as well. Again, gives me a little bit of protein. Gives me the nutritional content that the fruit's going to bring in, some of the fibre and the antioxidants and those sort of issues too, or elements I should say. Not so much an issue, we want to keep that food coming in. We also have our lunch then, so 2.5, 3 hours later I'm going to run into lunchtime. At that stage I want to have some protein, definitely. So an example there might be I'll have a meat and salad sandwich. If you don't have any problems with intake of wheat and so forth, then bread's not such a big evil bad thing. We need some carbohydrate there. But I would like it to be a little bit more complex. So preferably it might be a whole grain sandwich we're having. So it might be 2 slices of whole grain bread, I'll put on some ham, put on some lettuce, some tomato, some low fat cheese on there as well because I don't want to increase my fat intake. It's enough that's going to leave me feeling full. Again, not a lot of sugar in there, so I wouldn't trade that in for a honey sandwich with white bread and no butter. As that's going to burn off too quickly. I find myself needing to eat half a dozen of those and it still won't satisfy my appetite. But my other sandwich probably did. Again, no, I'm not completely full at that stage, but 2.5, 3 hours later, I'm starting to get a little bit peckish again. Now this is a critical time, it's in the afternoon. It's when most of us seem to find we have that afternoon downturn. Where our blood sugar levels really start to dive and our brain starts saying, feed me, and it wants sugar. And sugar is probably the worst thing to chuck in at that point because it creates a massive spike in your blood sugar levels and then it results in a really big low when your insulin levels increase and your appetite goes through the roof. You hit the afternoon, if you're feeling like that, you're more likely to go for a chocolate bar or hit the biscuit tin or something pretty ordinary that way. Which you know if I'd asked you at a sensible time of the day that that's not good for you, but you feel like it, so you just do it anyway. You feel pretty rubbish by the end of the day. You hit dinner time, starving, hungry, and then you're craving carbohydrates again. Now that time of the day is the time we don't need to eat a lot of carbohydrates. So we rewind the clock. We'll say afternoon snack, I tend to call it the most important meal of the day because it sets us up for a fall if we don't put some importance on it. So we hit our afternoon snack, we need to make sure there's some protein in there, we need to make sure it's a filling sort of a meal. Now I'll throw a few examples in there. I might grab a tin of tuna and I might have a piece of fruit as part of that meal. That would be a quick, easy one. People would call it the lazy option, might grab a protein shake or something like that. Yeah, they can do it as well. It might be a repeat of my lunch. I might have made 2 sandwiches at lunchtime and I have the second one in the afternoon. That would do the same job. Might have a piece of fruit and some yogurt. That could do it as well. But try and get some protein coming in there. You can have some carbohydrates, but again, complex carbohydrates, not sugary type carbohydrates. Certainly not your biscuits and the really obvious no-nos. Even if you don't feel hungry at that time or starving at that time, eat because you know shortly afterwards you probably are. You know, everyone out there has got a slightly different body clock when it comes to this, but I think most of you are going to find that you know what I'm talking about when we talk about that afternoon downturn if you don't hit it. Anyone in an office block can pretty much set their clock on all their co-workers at what time they all hit the vending machine and hit the snacks. And that's not good. Alright, so we've done that, we put an afternoon snack in, we get to dinner time now, least important meal of the day. What are we going to do next? We're going to go to bed. Now you shouldn't be burning up a huge amount of energy while you sleep, but you will be doing a fair bit of recovery. So while we're sleeping, we put in some protein. We put in, and that's helping to repair tissue, we put in some vitamins and minerals, so we might have some broccoli and some carrots, some steamed vegetables, we might have some lean chicken or some lean red meat. It doesn't have to be a massive portion. We don't want to go nuts with the pasta and the bread and the rice and so forth. If you have carbohydrates at that meal, you can happily go without them altogether, but make it a small portion. Alright, you'd say, I can't have that meal without the pasta, they're great, don't have a smaller amount. So make the carbohydrate portion be slightly smaller at that stage and leave yourself feeling full from the other foods. You'll find the meat and so forth will fill you up more so than white rice would, for instance. Now we don't want to have another big meal before we go to bed. So at that stage, that meal should pretty much tide us over. Some of us, it may be the case of willpower at that stage, remembering we've got a goal in mind. If you've set your goals properly, if you see some of our other videos, I do discuss goal setting, and it's really critical that you remind yourself of your goals when you start having any of these sort of cravings. Alright? So before you go to bed, if you feel like, oh, I want a chocolate biscuit, revise your goals. Read them. I want to lose body fat. That's right. That's what I'm doing today. That's my journey. I'm going to go to bed. I'll forget about it. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up, I'll keep my breakfast again, and I'm into the next day. Now, of course, we've got to be in the gym, and the gym you're going to go to is Flames Fitness in Canberra, and you come and check us out at flamesfitness.com.au. But that's my briefing on how you should eat for fat loss. Pretty general, but I hope it helps, and I hope to see you down in the gym soon. Bye for now.